Hello everyone, and welcome to this month's edition of the Bulletin. I'm Wade Pogany, Executive Director of the Associated School Boards of South Dakota. I think you'll find some interesting articles this month, especially those that deal with the Education Summer Study. I was very pleased to see some of the things that came out of the summer study at the conclusion. We had asked for primarily three things, and there were some recommendations that met these three. The first one was that we wanted the committee to look at reestablishing the per student allocation to $4,805. As you know, $4,805 was the amount before the cuts happened in 2011, and we want them to the legislature to bring that back up to speed. Secondly, I hear from board members all over the state that we really have a hard time planning our budgets because the amount of money we get in state aid fluctuates so much. There really isn't a good way to plan. So the legislature, the study committee, agreed to offer a bill that would put in a 2% minimum in the per student allocation, and then we can negotiate up to a 5% cap. And we'll probably see that bill, and it'll be a good discussion in this year's legislature. And third, we asked them to consider a long-term look at teacher salaries. I heard from many of you that teacher salaries are a huge problem in your districts as far as recruiting and retaining teachers, and they agreed to put together a resolution that would look at looking at teacher salaries on a long-term basis. So I think those three things really gave us some momentum going into the session to look at the problems that school boards face across the state. But that's where I need your help. We need to continue that momentum and try to keep up with where we are from this summer. There are a lot of good things that are happening, but I need your help to make sure that our legislators can understand what your needs are in your school districts before they ever get to peer in January. We need to invite them in, and we need to make sure that they understand what's happening so that they can come to peer and understand why we need $4,805 in the PSA, why we need a good solid base in the state aid calculation, and why teacher salaries are becoming more and more difficult for us to manage. Invite them in and have a good conversation. We also need to do a better job of advocating, and one of the ways we can do that is to make sure that we have good communication between our office and your school board. So if you've not elected or appointed a Legislative Action Network liaison, please do so right away and send us that person's name and all the contact information, because we want to work with them to make sure that they get the information to you that you need during legislative session. We also want to work with them to train them on how best to educate your board in grassroots lobbying. I encourage all of our Legislative Action Network members to plan on attending the trainings that we're going to have. January 4th will be in Rapid City, January 11th will be in Brookings, and January 18th will be in Pierre. Right before legislative session, so that the land members know exactly what their role is and what they need to do. We have some momentum going into the session, so let's keep that momentum going. Invite your legislators into your districts and have that conversation about what you need from them before they get to peer. That momentum is very important, but we have a lot of work to do. I'm convinced that it's going to take some effort on our part to convince the legislature that we need some more funding for education, and that's where I need your help. I hope you enjoy this month's edition of the Bulletin, and thanks for all you do for the kids of South Dakota.